Hello, my name is Abdul Ashraf, and today I will be sharing my experience with this application. The name of the application is RC Helicopter AR. So it's an augmented reality game basically, and it's a very simple game. Right, so without further ado, right, so this is the main menu. So here you can see you have a number of buttons. You have the normal mode and the game mode. So this is the free version of the app, so I don't have access to the game mode. So we'll be going with the normal mode. Right. So when you first start up the application, you'll be presented with this screen with a huge H in the middle. So that's where the helicopter will spawn. And here you have a number of buttons on the left and on the right, and some on the top. Alright, so what do these buttons do? Alright, so as you can see up here, there's the word drone. What does that mean? We'll get to that later. Alright, and here we have a button that says spawn helicopter. So what it does, it spawns a helicopter. Right, so there. I'll be pressing it in a bit. Right, so I've pressed the button and I've spawned a helicopter. In this case, it's a drone. So it's a flyable thing. Alright, so in this interface, we can see there's the word drone up here. So it it clearly represents that, and then there's the buttons on the left and the right. So you can change into a different helicopter, but being a free user, I can't really do that. And yeah, and now there's this spawn helicopter. So when you press this button, the helicopter disappears. Alright, so now let's look at the visual representations of this application. So on the left, you have the buttons. So what these buttons do is, as I will demonstrate in a bit, yeah. So when I press this button, the helicopter goes up. So this would make it go down, and the left and the right ones would make it turn left and turn right. Alright, so as for the buttons on the right, you have these three buttons here, up and down and X. Alright, so the up button makes the helicopter go forward, and the down button makes it go makes it go back. And yeah, so that's basically most of the interactions. There's one more button here with an X, so that's a surprise. Alright, so the physical objects or space of the application. So this application is designed to be used with a smartphone. So you're supposed to interact with it through the screen. So you touch the buttons where you see the buttons are on the screen. And the actions available for the users, well, the users can control the helicopter with the buttons on the left, on the right, and they can change the helicopter with the buttons at the top, and the settings, and this button, the surprise button. Alright, so let's see what the surprise button does. So this button here causes the helicopter to shoot. Alright, so the size of the buttons, it's, well, for my screen it looks okay, but maybe in larger screens it might be too big, or maybe it might be too small. I'm not sure. I did try this just with my phone. Alright, so the time aspect of this application. So it's basically a sandbox game. So there's no time limit. You can take your time, and this game is pretty shallow, so you don't really need to learn anything with the game. You just look at the buttons, try them out, and then the helicopter moves and shoot, and you can change helicopters and everything. So the reaction time, it's quite, I mean, for my phone, there's a slight delay because I have to use the camera and the things moving and everything, so it's rather slow, very very slightly. Alright, so and then the interface is quite familiar because, I mean, for me, because I play games every now and then, so I mean it's natural to see, the four buttons on the left, the three buttons on the right, except for the X probably, because that's a surprise button. So the up and down here, I mean, either gonna make it go forward or backwards, or maybe it will make it go up and down. There's only, so many possibilities here, and this one will either make it go left, right, or make it turn left and right. And since I know what these buttons do, it just makes sense that this would make it move forward and backwards. So that leaves this button. So when I tried and press the button, it shoots. So yeah, so it's quite familiar in the sense that most of the buttons are pretty self-explanatory. You don't really need to like, ooh, what does this button do? And then yeah, everything does what it's supposed to do. So for the behavior of the application, so for the feedback to the users, so I mean, once they press the buttons, the helicopter does its thing and it shoots stuff. So it's not very uh, I mean, there's not much by way of content, so it's just there so that you can spend your time rather than sitting down and staring at the wall. Instead, you'll be looking at your phone, shooting stuff. So it's a fun way to spend time, while waiting for the doctor or an appointment or something. So yeah, there's not much content, but it's a nice way to waste your time. Alright, so as for the interaction design principles, so the user experience and expectation, so the app, as I said, the game is very shallow, except maybe for the shooting part, because it just says X. I didn't even know what it means until I pressed the button. So it's I didn't know what I expected. So it's not that bad, I suppose. It's shooting and stuff. So consistency. So that since there's very little content, it's a shallow game. So it's rather consistent because nothing changes at all, and it's rather consistent with your usual games. Usually, you'll have the controls on the left side and the right side of the screen, because that's where you would put your hands when you're holding your phone and playing games. So yeah, it's very consistent in that sense. Functional minimalism, well, it's rather minimalist because the buttons don't have fill. I mean, it's rather clear. So, and then it's just simple. It's just a circle with an icon in the middle, and that's the word drone and the settings button. So it's quite simple, and you don't really have a lot of unknown buttons because the cog sign always signals settings, and these mean movement, and this does actions, and this left and right button signals something that's going to change the whatever is in the middle. And then cognitive loads. This game is very light. You don't really have to think anything in this game. You just go, oh, look at the screen, move your camera around, so you can, maybe shoot at the picture, or shoot at the chair, or shoot at the cat. So you can just move the camera around, and then the helicopter stays there. I mean, you have to move the helicopter as well as your camera. So that's the fun part of it, I suppose. So you can move the helicopter around and then shoot stuff. Engagement, yeah, it's not very engaging because there's no real task or challenge with that comes with the game, because it's just a sandbox game. You just fly helicopter and shoot stuff. So it's not very engaging. I mean, you don't really have to pay attention to it. Just press it and things just get blown up. And then control, trust, and explorability. So you have absolute control over almost everything in the game, except for the lock contents, like I showed earlier. The game mode, you can unlock it by watching an ad video, and then you get to play it for 15 minutes. I didn't do that, but yeah, but most of the things you have in the app you can use, except for I mean, and then there's the helicopters. You can most of the helicopters are locked, so you have to pay and then use it. Perceivability, um, yeah, you can basically press everything and everything works. I mean, there's not really a hidden function or whatever. Everything that you can do with the app is right here in the screen and the main menu. There's not much else hidden. Learnability, you don't really have to learn anything except for well, probably what the controls do. I mean, even then, that's very intuitive. Up means up or forward, and yeah, you just need to know which buttons do what. But you basically know what would be happening when you press the buttons. So there's not much to learn, and everything is nice and easy. Okay, as for error prevention, it's not really implemented in this application, at least on the user interface side of things, because there's not really anything wrong you can do except maybe press on the ads at the bottom of the screen. But yeah, everything else you can press and things will happen. You don't get any wrong. There's no really wrong way to do things in this app because it's a sandbox thing. So everything is permissible. And then affordance, alright. So as for affordance, it's quite good except for the shooting button, because I mean, the up button does look like it's going to make the helicopter go up. At the left and right buttons really do look like it's going to make the helicopter turn left and turn right, except for the shoot button, because maybe if they put the symbol of a gun there, maybe it would look like it's going to make the helicopter shoot, but then that would go against the minimalism thing. So yeah, so an axe, it's not really doesn't really make it seem like it's going to shoot, but yeah, once you press it, it shoots. I mean, there's no really wrong way to do things, as I said, so just press it and it makes it shoot. Oh, and then you learn it that it's shooting. Alright, so that's all for today. So thank you for watching the video and have a nice day. Oh, and the link to the app is in the description below. So thank you for watching.